Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today we're going to look at Unit 11 from the level A2, and we will begin our lesson with a practice of the phonetics and English groups. Uh, we will do this slowly so that you can practice your pronunciation. The idea is to repeat, listen, read, and repeat. And you will uh, have an opportunity then to see some of the grammar from these lines. Let's begin. We'll start by looking at the groups, and so the procedure is I will uh, I will say first the English group, sorry, the phonetics group, and then the English group, and then we will continue. Just a second, I want to make it a little bit better on the page. Okay, I think that's going to be better. Yes. Okay. So let's begin with the first one. We start with the phonetics. I will read this very slowly and you repeat. If you haven't done the phonetics course, go to the link below. You can see in the VirtuAule webpage, you see the phonetics course. It's not very long. You will learn the phonetics. It's very, very useful. Let's listen to this and repeat. Are you thirsty? Are you thirsty? Repeat. Yes, I am. Repeat. Yes, I am. What would you like to drink? What would you like to drink? I'll have a beer. I'll have a beer. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I had a late lunch. I had a late lunch. We'd like a table for four, please. We'd like a table for four, please. Are you ready to order? Are you ready to order? What would you like to eat? What would you like to eat? Would you like some vegetables? Would you like some vegetables? I'd like some spinach. I'd like some spinach. Spinach is good for you. Spinach is good for you. There's some wine on the table. There's some wine on the table. But there isn't any water. But there isn't any water. And there isn't any bread. And there isn't any bread. There are some knives on the table. There are some knives on the table. But there aren't any forks. But there aren't any forks. And there aren't any spoons. And there aren't any spoons. Could you pass the salt and pepper? Could you pass the salt and pepper? Could you pass the oil and vinegar? Could you pass the oil and vinegar? Could I have some coffee, please? Could I have some coffee, please? Would you like some sugar? Would you like some sugar? Do you like German beer? Do you like German beer? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do you like Australian wine? Do you like Australian wine? No, I don't. No, I don't. Do you like Turkish coffee? Do you like Turkish coffee? I don't know. I don't know. Could I have a piece of cake? Could I have a piece of cake? Could I have a cup of tea? Could I have a cup of tea? Could we have? Could we have another bottle of wine? Another bottle of wine. Could we have our bill, please? Could we have our bill, please? Do you take credit cards? Do you take credit cards? I'm afraid not, sir. I'm afraid not, sir. I had lunch with Tim today. I had lunch with Tim today. Where did you go? Where did you go? We went to that new restaurant. We went to that new restaurant. The Italian one. The Italian one. On the corner. On the corner. What's it like? What's it like? It's good and it's not expensive. It's good and it's not expensive. What did you have? What did you have? I had spaghetti. I had spaghetti. It was delicious. It was delicious. Do you like eating out? Do you like eating out? Do you like spicy food? Do you like spicy food? I eat, I ate. I eat, I ate. I drink, I drank. I drink, I drank. Where were you born? Where were you born? I was born in Vancouver. I was born in Vancouver. Where is that exactly? Where is that exactly? It's in Western Canada. It's in Western Canada. Not far from Seattle. Not far from Seattle. When was television invented? When was television invented? Who invented the radio? Who invented the radio? How many hours? How many hours are there in a day? Are there in a day? How many days? How many days are there in a week? Are there in a week? The 1st of August 2014. The 1st of August 2014. Where was Marco Polo born? Where was Marco Polo born? He was born in Venice. He was born in Venice. When was he born? When was he born? In 1254. In 1254. Okay, very good. We have done the practice now. Uh, you can find the group below and translate the group if you want, if you're not sure of what the meaning of the words are. Copy and paste. You can go to the Google Translate, and just a reminder to subscribe to the page. Click the notification button so that you can get all of the notifications for future videos. Excuse me, videos. And so practice this. Practice it many times. Listen, read, and repeat. This will codify the sounds. You will be able to recognize the sounds not from the words that are written, but from the sound that you are repeating. So it's a very good way of practicing. And now we're going to go to the grammar part of the lesson. So let's start with Unit 11, A2. Okay, so let's start with the first idea, would like. I'd like some spinach. That's contracted. It is in the long form. I would like some spinach. I would like, I'd like. It means I want some spinach. It's just a polite way. You use would like because it's more polite than want. I would like is a nice way of saying I want. Children, I want, I want, I want. You'd like some spinach. You would like. Okay, let's look at the different inclinations. You have you would like, you'd. He'd like some spinach. He would like some spinach. She'd like some spinach. She would like some spinach. So contracted form, she'd becomes she would. We'd like some spinach. We would like some spinach. We'd like. They'd like some spinach. They would like. So you see that the form doesn't change for any of the persons. No inclination changes the modal. This is something you will learn about modal verbs. You saw with can, I can, you can, he can, she can. There's no change in the modal. And the like form is the infinitive, always the infinitive after the modal. So, question. Would comes before the subject. Okay, this is the typical order of the verb subject in the question form. We have an auxiliary. So we have auxiliary would, subject like, subject you, and the verb in the infinitive form like. Would you like some spinach? I remind you, this is the quasi form, the question word, auxiliary, subject, infinitive. That's the order of the questions. Okay, this is a question of a yes-no nature, so there is no question word. We have auxiliary, would, subject, you, like, infinitive, asi. Would you like some spinach? Short answer, yes, I would, or no, I wouldn't. Would they like to eat? Yes, they would. No, they wouldn't. So the forms stay the same. Let's look at would like versus like. I would like some spinach, like I said, is I want some spinach. Instead, if I say I like spinach, it means I enjoy spinach all the time. I like spinach. Maybe I eat it every week or every month or every summer. It's something that I do regularly, habit. It's a routine. It's also a fact. I like spinach. Instead, I would like indicates that I want to do something now or in the future. Like indicates that I always, usually, or often enjoy something. So don't confuse this. I like spinach is not the same as I would like some spinach. Let's look at some nouns. Count and uncount. Noun count, uncountable. Singular, we have a fork. Plural, two forks. What happens? We add an S. So fork is countable. You can count the forks. One fork, two forks, 3 forks. Let's look at another example. Singular plus plural. Some water. Water, you cannot say 2 waters. Water is uncountable. You cannot count water. So there is no singular article. You cannot say a water, and you cannot put the s. You cannot say waters. This is a uncountable or a non-count noun. You cannot use the article a or an with an uncountable noun because a equals 1. So you're counting something. I have a fork means I have 1 fork. People is an irregular countable noun. You don't add an s on the plural form because it is always plural. So people means more than one person. People are near. People are. Are is the plural noun, not people is. 3 people are near. Now, I can use numbers, but I can't use 1 because it's a irregular countable noun, but I cannot count just 1. There is some water. Uncountable nouns take singular verbs. They are considered singular. There is some water. There is some bread. There is some cheese. Let's look at some common non-count nouns. Advice, mail, bread, water, furniture, money, cheese, rice, help, music, coffee, salt, homework, peace, wine, soup, information, traffic, fruit, sugar, jewelry, weather, tea, meat, luck, work, milk. If you're not familiar with some of these words, look them up, use the Google Translator, write them, try to remember them. They are common non-count nouns. I cannot say 2 monies, or I cannot say 2 sugars. I say some sugar, but not sugars. Using a, an, and some. Let's look at this a little closer with uncountable nouns and quantities. Okay, you can use units of measure with non-count nouns to express a specific quantity. For example, I would like some water. Some is an unspecified quantity with an uncountable noun. Some means a quantity. I would like a glass of water. Okay, you have a glass, you have a specific quantity with an uncountable noun. Water is not countable, but a glass of water is countable. So I could say 2 glasses of water, 3 glasses of water. I'd like a piece of fruit. A piece is a specific quantity with an uncountable. A piece of fruit. I'd like a cup of coffee, a glass of coffee, a cup, a piece. All of these are specific quantities with uncountable nouns. Let's look at some common expressions of measure. A bag of rice, a bunch of bananas, a jar of pickles, a bar of soap, a can of corn, a loaf of bread, a bottle of beer, a carton of milk, a piece of cheese, a bowl of cereal, a sheet of paper, a box of candy, a head of lettuce, and a tube of toothpaste. So rice, pickles, corn, beer, cheese, paper, lettuce, toothpaste, candy, cereal, milk, bread, soup, and bananas. Well, not bananas. Bananas is countable, but the rest are uncountable. So we can quantify how many cartons of milk, but we cannot quantify milk. Now, if you are in the Moodle access, if you have access to the self-study, you can do exercises 1 and 2 and also 3. Let's look at could with polite questions, okay? You could use could to ask polite questions. It is the same form as would in the question. Could I have some spinach? Yes, I could. No, I couldn't. Okay. The short answer is really not pertinent here. It's not relevant because could I have some spinach? I'm asking. The person will maybe answer you, yes, you could, but not yes, I could. Could you pass the bread? Yes, you could. Or maybe you would say, yes, I could. Yes, no, I couldn't. Okay, those are just the forms of the short answers. But you see that the order could is the same with would. We have the auxiliary, we have the subject, and then we have the verb in the infinitive form, have or pass. Let's look at questions with who. That's a subject question. Who can be the object of the verb in a question? Okay, in this case, you can use the normal quasi order. That is the anagram for question word, auxiliary, subject, and infinitive. This is very important to remember because this will give you the order of the question. Many people make mistakes by losing the order. They put the subject first, and you cannot put the subject first. You have to think about the question word and then the auxiliary. And then you can think about the subject. Then the infinitive. The verb doesn't incline, it doesn't conjugate, it is used in the infinitive form. So, who, do, you, know, in Quebec. Who is the question word, do is the auxiliary, you is the subject, and I is the infinitive form of the word know. Infinitive know. So, who can also be the subject of a question. In this case, the usual question word order, quasi, is not used. When who is the subject of a question, do not use do, does, or did. Do not change the verb. The order of the subject and the verb in the question is the same as the order in the answer. Okay, let's look at this. Who did write Alice in Wonderland? Okay, here we have the normal quasi form. Question word, who, did, auxiliary, write, infinitive. Okay, who did write, question word, auxiliary. We don't have the subject here. You see, this is the problem. The subject is not Alice in Wonderland, and we don't have a subject here. So the question should be, who wrote Alice in Wonderland? We just have subject and a verb. So who is the subject? Wrote is the conjugated or inclined verb, the wrote in the past tense. Who wrote? Lewis Carroll wrote Alice in Wonderland. You see, in the answer we have the subject and the verb, just like in the question. Who did they see? Who is a normal question. Who subject, question word. Did auxiliary. They subject. See infinitive. Okay, the answer is Jim. They the subject, saw the verb. They saw Jim. Jim is the answer, right? Who did they see? Jim is who. In this case, who saw Jim? This is a subject question with who. Who saw? Who is the subject? Saw is the verb, is conjugated. So the answer is Paul and Alice. Paul and Alice saw Jim. You see, the subject, Paul and Alice, then this conjugated verb is just like the question. Who saw Jim? Paul and Alice saw Jim. Okay, you can do this exercise if you are enrolled in the self-study course. All right, this is a little bit difficult. Let's just finish with there be asking questions. Okay, with how many? We have how many. How many is like a question word. It's the first part of the sentence. How many How is a question word, but how many is part of the question word. Then we have the subject hours, and then we have the verb are. So we have the subject and verb that is inverted. They are inverted. How many hours are there in a day? 12. There are 12 hours in a day. So I'm asking a question, how many? And I'm telling you that there are. So there exists 12 hours in a day. How many eggs are there in the fridge? 3. There are 3 eggs in the fridge. So you see, both of the subjects hours and eggs are countable. So, sorry, we have um, countable how many. Instead, how much is used with uncountable nouns. No article is used before the noun. How much champagne do we need? Champagne is uncountable, so it's a little bit different. How much champagne is there? There is a lot of champagne. Okay, you can't count it. All right, we'll finish with the prepositions. Just look at some prepositions. A preposition can link to nouns, pronouns, or noun phrases in a sentence. They link the people, the objects, the time, and the locations of a sentence. Prepositions are short words that come directly in front of nouns and sometimes before gerund verbs. So we have prepositions of time, at, on, in, for, from and to, before and after. I was born on June 4th, 1989. On we use before days and dates. On June 4th. I was born in 1998. In we use before years, months, seasons, and centuries. So in September, in autumn, in the 14th century. I was born at exactly 2 a.m. At is before precise times or times of the day and festivals. At exactly 2 a.m. At uh, at 4 o'clock. Times of the day, 4 o'clock a.m. And festival at Christmas. We can meet at Christmas. I study for 2 hours a day. 4 is before a duration of time. 2 hours is a duration, so 2 hours. I studied from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. We use from to introduce the first moment, to introduce the end of a period. This is used to give a duration between two times a period. I was born 2 minutes before midnight. That's before midnight. I was born after midday. Midnight is the opposite of midday. It's also called noon. Let's look at the prepositions of place, on, at, and in. The cat is on the table, on before something with a surface. So on the table, on the floor, on the map, on the book. The dogs are in the house. In is before something inside or within a confined boundary. You can think of like a box, okay? The dogs are in the house, they are inside, in. We can meet at the station. At is like a specific point. Think about putting an X on a map. We can meet at the station. You're putting that on the map. All right, prepositions of movement, we go to and from. He went to France last year. To is linked to the verb to go. Whenever you use go, you use to. I go to the supermarket. I went to the supermarket. We go to whenever you're indicating the movement. We came from, she came from the station. This is also linked to the verb come, to come from. Where do you come from? I come from Spain. The preposition of, that's the bag of my friend's sister. Of links a noun belonging to or relating to another. It's like relating to things, the bag and the sister. I got married in the summer of 2000. Of indicates a reference to something. I drank 3 cups of milk. Of also indicates an amount or a number. 3 cups of milk, we saw that. A piece of fruit, so it indicates an amount. All right. So we have looked at the grammar. Repeat the groups as many times as you can. It's very good practice. Listen and repeat. You don't have to listen. You don't have to look at the video. You can also listen and just repeat. Review the grammar. Repeat the words that I say in the grammar. And thank you for enjoying this lesson. I'll see you the next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.